Ew, ew. Y'all know what it is. Let me get my charger in. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. As you can tell, we changed up the scenery a little bit. Actually, we were here. I don't know. Where did we do the show for Monday? No, yeah, we did that. I don't need to tell y'all where I'm at, but good evening. Good evening. A lot of stuff for us to talk about tonight. Welcome to the wind down. Let me get a little bit of the background. There we go. Get a little nice little wind down. We got a lot to discuss, as you probably already saw on the title or on the photo. We're going to get into a little bit with RFK. We got Bronny James. We got the poverty pimp himself, Al Sharpton. We're going to go through a lot. How's the week going for y'all? How's the week going for y'all? Please make sure that as you join, you are liking for the algorithm. That's only going to help more and more people jump on the show, contribute their thoughts, and that way we can broaden our perspective on things and hopefully give us a better take on what's really going on in the world today. I had a podcast today earlier. So that's why I can't even say that's why I'm dressed up, but yeah, I was feeling the energy. I just like, let me just leave what I had on earlier. Shot a pod with my big bro, Pete the Noble. That was dope. We actually did one maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, but we the audio wasn't, or it was the video or audio, so we shot again. That was cool. Talked about a range of subjects. It's always dope when you can talk about healthcare and bring up some of the challenges that we always discuss on here, whether it's dealing with big pharma, whether it's the FDA, whether it's a lot of things that are pushed when it comes to pharmaceuticals by the doctors, to be able to have those conversations with the actual healthcare providers. It definitely hits different. And hopefully, whenever that's ready, I'll make sure that I tap in and show y'all. Maybe we'll actually review some of that. Maybe that'll be cool for us to review some of the interview that I did with Pete, or maybe that's just a little narcissistic. I don't know. But either way, we may still do it. It is what it is. But like I said, we got a new edition. Hold on. We got a new edition. So I was in storage. Found my old All-Star helmet. This is the All-Star helmet from high school. So we're going to leave that right there. Got a couple of the teams. I guess with the All-Star games, I guess what we were doing is putting everybody else's sticker. I don't even think I have a Montclair sticker on there. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Shout out to Maya Bunch is in the building. Good evening. Good evening. Shout out to you. Oh, matter of fact, you just reminded me. Oh, yeah. So you guys can actually do the same. What I'm doing right now is hitting up my group chat, and I'm telling them to tap in. Sometimes I forget to alert them. Good evening, fellas. And then just hit them with the link. If they decide to tap in, and you all can do the same. All right, so let's get it started. No need to wait. I don't want to have y'all up all evening. Tonight, we'll probably do about an hour and a half. We'll see how it goes. We're not rushing to anything, so we will just see how it goes. All right, so today's going to be a little bit of a different show, meaning by we got a lot to cover, so may not spend as much time on every single specific topic. However, we are going to make sure that we get some type of understanding on everything that we're talking about. So the first thing that we'll I guess, shine a light on is Bronny James. So for those that maybe your first time watching the show, or maybe didn't tune in to one of the shows that we discussed Bronny James. Bronny James, obviously LeBron James' son. He's actually, so I'm a Bronny fan. All right, that is my bias. I am a Bronny James fan. I'm a fan. And Bronny James played 1 year of college at USC, dealt with some health issues because I believe he actually had like a heart issue. There was something serious, and I think he passed out on the court while playing ball. So the rest of the season, or that first season, his freshman year, was more so centered around him getting back healthy. So then the next year came, he's trying out for the NBA. LeBron pulls some strings. We all know how it goes. A little bit of nepotism in there, and LeBron got Bronny on the Lakers. Started off playing with the actual team. Then, I don't want to say got demoted, but got put on the G League for development. I thought that was very good. But there's been an argument back and forth between whether or not, well, I don't think we can argue whether or not it's nepotism, but whether or not it's the right thing. And the right thing, the reason why I hesitated is because who's to say whether something's right or wrong? So let me actually get a little bit more specific for me. How I look at it is whether or not it's beneficial for Bronny James. I understand all the ways that it's beneficial for LeBron to be able to say that he's had his son play in the NBA with him, to be on the same team, both from a historical standpoint. That could be very beneficial, being able to say that he's the first person to do that, for a player that's in his position. We saw, I think, Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. do it in baseball, but Bronny James, to be able to play with a guy like LeBron, obviously that's a big story. But then you look at it from a development standpoint and growth standpoint when it comes to Bronny James, and it kind of centers around the discussion, or touches on the discussion that we've always had on DEI. And as far as my issues with DEI, my issues from DEI, I just look at the results, the impact that it's making on the individuals that it's supposed to help. Not going to get into too much of that discussion. But when it comes to Bronny James, that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. And LeBron can do whatever you want. Bronny James can do whatever you want. Us having this discussion doesn't mean anything, but we're still going to talk about it. We're still going to talk about it because it's an issue that maybe pertains to other aspects of our life. So when it comes to Bronny James, I gave y'all the context. I want you to see a video that Stephen A. Smith, we're going to review what Stephen A. Smith had to say about it, because it's a very uncomfortable feeling, I believe, that a lot of people are having with having to critique Bronny James, understanding the position that he's in, understanding that people have a lot of respect for LeBron James, his dad, but looking at it from afar and saying, like, he's in a position that he did not earn. And it's almost to the point now where people are feeling bad for Bronny James and upset with LeBron and begging him, LeBron, stop trying to rush his development. Let him take his time. Let him earn his stripes. When we talk about, one of my complaints when it comes to DEI, or when people are given positions that they didn't earn, is you rob them of developing and growing their skills on their own. So this is the same thing when it comes to Bronny James. So it seems like, just being totally honest, it seems like Bron's ego may be getting in the way of Bronny Jr.'s development. So let's take a look at this Stephen A. Smith video.
Last night, the Lakers.
We'll review it a little bit, and you guys tell me what you think. So last night, I believe this was last night, they were playing against a Joel Embiid list. They were playing against the Philadelphia 76ers, who are not that good, haven't been that good. And Joel Embiid, their best player, one of the best players in the league, if you're familiar, he wasn't playing. So they said, you know what, let's use this as an opportunity to get Bronny James in. And Bronny has been balling in the G League, and he's getting his confidence up, which is something else that we'll discuss as we move forward. But let me get the video going. I'm going to shut up, and would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it as well.
Took a loss to the Sixers, but didn't come without Bronny James seeing some decent playing time. In the first half, Bronny went 0 for 8 with 3 rebounds and 1 assist. JJ Redick spoke candidly after the game on the young star's struggles and the decision to play Bronny in the first quarter last night. JJ.
Just felt like on a back-to-back, just him giving us energy, I think, was the goal. I maybe put him in a tough spot, flying up yesterday and, nationally televised game and Philly, all that stuff. It's, he didn't
pay attention. And I'm sorry that I interrupted, but pay attention to the this is what's happening. LeBron James has put this entire Lakers organization in a tough spot. The coach can't even criticize Bronny James the way that he wants to criticize. JJ Redick is the head coach, and he's making excuses, saying, like, maybe I put him in a bad spot, calling him up. Does JJ Redick played in the NBA? He understands how this goes. Professional sports, it is what it is. Your name, you never know when your number is going to get called, and you have to be prepared. And for any other player, I don't see the coach making an excuse saying, like, oh, well, maybe we put him in a bad position. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Most athletes, this is how it goes. You don't know when, somebody in front of you is going to get injured, or at least he knew that he was getting called up to play. players are put in way worse positions and held to a higher standard. And I think that JJ Redick understands it, but JJ Redick obviously is coaching a team with LeBron James on it. JJ Redick is the reason why JJ Redick is the head coach is because LeBron James. Let's just be honest. So look at it through a lens of how like this makes the rest of your team feel. Are you putting your team first, or are you putting legacy and your son first, or your own legacy and your own self-interest even above your son's best interest? Let's keep going.
Didn't play well, but he's been playing great. You know, in the Stay Ready games, and he's been playing great in the G. So I have confidence in him, but obviously didn't provide that at a high level.
All right, so JJ trying some things out there. Stephen A. in Philadelphia giving Bronny first quarter playing time. Why the face or the hand or the everything that's happening?
I'm really, really trying to be as respectful as I possibly can be towards LeBron James. One of the top 2 or 3.
He just said towards LeBron James. This is the thing. I remember LeBron James saying that he regrets naming Bronny James LeBron James Jr. because it put so much pressure on him. Why is LeBron doing this? Let Bronny develop. Let him have his own path. This may not be the same as yours. It may not be while he's in the league with you, but let him develop. We don't have to give him a handout. Look at how Stephen A. Smith, it's the same thing with JJ Redick. Stephen A. Smith is not the type to hold his tongue when somebody just doesn't play well. He's over here supposed to be analyzing the game, analyzing Bronny James' performance, and he's over here trying to be super respectful to LeBron. Who does this hinder? Who does this hinder when people are when the standard is lowered for individuals? Like I said, this is the case when it comes to DEI, any other affirmative action program, whatever it is that we're talking about. When it's not based on merit, this is what ends up happening. We should be raising the stand. Let's keep going.
Players in the history of basketball, number 2 in my eyes. A treasure to the game of basketball that we should and will all miss when he is gone.
Hey, Shy.
I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. The first game of the season, opening night, the Griffeys in attendance, father-son duo playing in an NBA game for first time, an absolutely positively wonderful story. And then reality sets in. We love what we're seeing from him in the G League because that's where you belong. As you hone your skills and you get better and you legitimately earn, which I believe he has the potential to do. I am rooting for Bronny James. It would be cruel to root against him. He's a wonderful kid. I wish him nothing but the best. But he's LeBron James' son. And everybody knows what attention that brings. Molly, Doggy, put them up on the screen because I want to see their face when I say this. Right now, Bronny James is averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. You know what people are saying. You know what they're going to do to this kid. In 13 games,
No, people are not saying it. You're trying to say it without saying it. And that just goes to show you that it's a situation that you don't even feel comfortable covering. It's like your ties are so strong. You don't want to offend LeBron James so much that you're willing to excuse something that you would be ready to call out if it was somebody else outside of LeBron James. We're only going to listen to another maybe 30 seconds of this, but I just wanted to show it because it's just another angle to touch on the reason for me as far as why I dislike DEI. It's the results. Stop what we don't. When you give somebody something, when you take away somebody's opportunity to earn something, you rob them by providing that crutch. You rob them of developing tools and skills on their own that they would only learn through going through whatever tough journey their journey is. We think we're doing people favors by giving them opportunities that they don't deserve, and we're not. We are simply not.
He has played 44 minutes. He has scored 4 points. He is shooting 1 of 16 from the field, 0 for 7 from three-point range. How are you doing him favors?
And none of y'all are doing him a favor either by taking it easy on him. So I don't even need to, honestly, I don't even want to cover any more of this. Like I said, I'm a Bronny James fan. I don't know. It just, maybe this is just the symbolic of just the world that we live in, society that we live in, where people are just okay. Like, people used to take pride in getting it out the mud, getting it the hard way. People used to take pride in that. And now it's just, we're just okay with this. For LeBron James, for him to be the person that he is and what he means to the game of basketball, for him to be doing something like this, I just couldn't see Kobe doing this. I just couldn't see a lot of other players doing this, just because it's robbing the game, it's robbing Bronny, and it's just taking away, in my opinion, the best way, whether you're looking for DEI, whether you're looking for whatever, whether you're looking to level the playing field, keep it a competitive environment. Competition. So we'll move on from there. Just a little icebreaker. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all tell me, what are y'all thoughts? Do y'all not care? Clearly it doesn't matter. LeBron, just maybe a little learning takeaway. Maybe not. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next video that we have. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Al Sharpton and his boycott. Instead of a boycott, his boycott. And I actually did a video on this yesterday. I was so excited. Like, when I saw it, I was like, nah, I'm recording this right now. But I wanted to cover it with y'all as well. And listen to this, because I think it's important for us to pay attention to what a lot of our leaders are pushing. A lot of the agendas, a lot of the campaigns, a lot of the things that these so-called leaders that we have, especially when it comes to the Black community, pay attention to what they're pushing it, and then dig a little deeper. We have to get beyond the surface level emotional aspect of all these things and actually look at the results of these things. So let me share the screen. You're going to see a TMZ interview. They're going to ask Reverend Al Sharpton, the Reverend, a few different questions, and then hopefully you guys will respond. You know I'm gonna respond. So let's get it going.
Our position has been, we announced on Martin Luther King holiday in a big rally we had in Washington, that we're going to, in 90 days, release a boycott list all over the country. But in the interim, we're going to do a boycott. We're going to go and support those that support diversity. And you must remember, these DEI programs are not only for Blacks, it's for LGBTQ, it's for disabled, it's for veterans. So our position is very simple. If you do not want to commit that you will have diversity in your workforce, diversity on your board, diversity on your C-suite, then why would you want to have diversity among your consumers?
I gotta stop that right there real quick. He's right. Diversity, equity, inclusion is not just about Black people. And I think we watched a video on that with the lady. She was talking about how Black people are pretty much number 7 in line when it comes to benefiting from DEI programs. I believe white women were first, and then it's what is it? I think Asians are in there. I think it's people with disabilities. I think it's LGBTQ. Then there's a couple other groups. I think even they were saying, I don't even know how this works or how this makes sense, but they were even saying like white men benefit. I don't know how that happens, but when I want y'all to pay attention to what Al Sharpton just said. He's talking about diversity. I believe he said in the amongst their owners, and then he said amongst their boards or shareholders. Keep that in the back of your mind as we're going through this.
Yeah, there's some in the black and brown community that say if you boycott stores that sell our products, that actually hurts us.
Tabitha Brown in particular said this.
Well, but I
Reverend
think that is like saying in segregation time that if you fight for desegregation, I'm going to lose my job that is unfairly paid and unfairly done.
And let me interrupt real quick, Al. So what the lady, what their question was, is basically complaining about, let's say Target got rid of their DEI programs, but a black-owned business has, like, let's say Honey Pot. Honey Pot is in Target. So therefore, don't ask me how I know. I just know. Honey Pot is in Target. So therefore, Honey Pot would say, like, yo, you're boycotting Target, so you're kind of hurting our business as well. I don't really have as much sympathy for that, because you can sell your product online. It is what it is. You'll figure it out. But when it does come to what he just brought up as far as with segregation, I'd like us to maybe think about it from a different point of view. And the people that watch the show all the time, you know where I'm going with this. You know exactly where I'm going with this. You're boycotting. And matter of fact, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to listen to the rest of what he has to say.
We want black businesses to prosper, but we don't want them to prosper at the expense of dealing with the larger issue. We should take those companies and support them, put them online. We'd rally for them. We'd have buyouts with them. They should be calling us rather than trying to defend people who may give them shelf space, but will not guarantee that for the community. So there's a way to make both things happen at the same time. If Mr. Trump and his supporters can tell you you cannot make sure that you have a diversified workforce, then they can't make a law to make us shop and spend our money where we're not guaranteed that there's going to be fairness. Diversity programs started because there was bias against those communities. Now you're going to tell me when we're trying to correct the bias that you're going to penalize the companies? No, I don't think so.
All right, so there's not much there that I agree with him when it comes to that. I just don't see DEI like that. I just don't think that he's talking about when it started. Well, is there ever an end point to this? Let me ask y'all this. What's the end point? Al Sharpton has been fighting civil rights, whatever, for how long? Seems like they got the same rallying cries, same protest chants, same everything. Is there an actual end game to DEI, or is it something that we just continue to do? Are we ever going to take the training wheels off, or do we just have to leave them on? I don't know, but let me show y'all exactly what happened and who he decided to visit, because they did this boycott and they actually visited one of your favorite stores. So I guess Costco is there. They decided to keep their DEI. I actually have a video on that. Actually, let's take a look at why Costco. Matter of fact, we're not even going to take a look at that. We're just going to go to the other video because I don't want to take too much time on this. We're going to go to the other video that shows Reverend Al leading his boycott I believe they're in New York City. All right, so let's take a look at this, and I'm going to kind of talk over it. There's nobody speaking right now, but as you can see, they're just getting ready to go on the bus. They're giving out some T-shirts so everybody can look uniform. And I believe that they gave everybody on the bus a $25 gift certificate to spend at Costco. So you'll see them organizing. And remember, I said, what did I say to keep in mind? I said, keep in the back of your mind what he said about diversity in owners and diversity in your board. Keep that in mind as we take a look at this. Matter of fact, I'm about to look up something for you guys. Costco ownership. Let's look at who actually owns Costco. All right, so I'm just looking at it. Vanguard and BlackRock. Vanguard owns 9.4%. BlackRock owns 7.56%. They have a State Street Corporation. We should one day, people should do some research on BlackRock, the things that they own, the agendas that they get behind, and it may make you look at it a little bit differently than your current thoughts on it. I don't know what your current thoughts are on it, but may make you look at it a little bit different. So let's get to fast forwarding real quick. A bit of them at Costco, and I believe Al Sharpton is going to give some words. He's going to get us all excited and encouraged.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion in the private sector.
So we said diversity, equity, and inclusion in the private sector. All right, so let me pause this for a second. Let me pause this for a second, and I want to share the screen with you guys and show you something. We're going to take a look at Costco's board of directors. We're going to take a look at Costco's board of directors. You can see it right on the screen. Matter of fact, let me get out the way, make them a little bigger. White guy, white woman. We got a black guy. So this is their board. Got a black guy so far, white woman, white guy, white guy, white woman, white guy, white guy, white guy, white woman. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in total, one black guy. Where's all the black women at? Where's the Latinas? Where's the Latinos? Where's the real diversity? And this is what I mean when I say we hustle backwards with all of this DEI stuff. We get so caught up emotionally that we don't even understand that we are hustling backwards. Does that look like a diverse group to you? Does this look like a representation of America or the people that shop at Costco? Al Sharpton is doing all this, going to Costco, $25 gift certificates. They rented out a bus. They rented out a bus. Hold on, let me get them off the screen real quick. They rented out a bus. So I don't know how much that cost. They got the camera crew. They got all this stuff. Al Sharpton, why didn't you find a black supermarket to go to? Why didn't you find a black supermarket to go to? And a question that a lot of y'all may have is, well, are there any black supermarkets? I don't know if I said it on the last show, but when I talk about diversity or when I think about diversity, diversity to me is not begging white-owned or any other type of owned business to support or to hire black people. That's not diversity, equity, inclusion. That's just not how I see it. Now, diversity of ownership, and based on what Uncle Al said, we're not talking about, we're talking diversity of ownership, the board, all these areas, right? So when you have this diversity of ownership, what does it do? Now you're able to shop at stores. Now you actually can have your dollar circulate in the community because there are black grocery stores. There are black businesses. There is a black doctor. There are black, but when your entire purpose is to beg white businesses and try to bully them into hiring black people, then all you're ever going to get are white-owned companies. Like I said, what's the end game? The only end game that I see is black people waking up and realizing, and maybe using it as a rallying cry, as I've told y'all before, when somebody denies you, if you feel that nobody's hiring you or they deny you a job because of the color of your skin, use that as a rallying cry. That should show you that, hey, we have a problem. We have a problem that we do not have. Why don't we have a black law firm that we'd be able to work for? Why don't we have a black grocery store that we can work for? Why don't we have a black Walmart, a black super center like that? The reason why is because we'd all have fallen in love with this DEI victimhood that encourages us to just try to work for jobs rather than to actually have our own and to develop our own supermarkets, develop our own businesses like we had before segregation. This is the same argument. Al Sharpton is jumping out the window trying to create content. That's all he's trying to do. He's not trying to actually fix a problem. And this is what I see with a lot of our older activists, whatever you want to call them, leaders, they're so emotionally connected to things that were going on in the 60s. They don't even realize, like, bro, you're over here going to Costco. Their board is not diverse. Oh, yeah, they'll keep DEI programs maybe because it looks good. Who knows the reason why? They're not doing it because they just feel that black people are so amazing. If they did, then maybe they would have more black people in their board of directors. Maybe they would have one black woman. You can't turn. I'm so surprised that there's a black man instead of a black woman, to be totally honest, on their board. There's not a lot of businesses that you can go to where black people are not going to raise hell if there's not a black woman somewhere represented in that C-suite or on that board. I'm just being real. So another example of us just hustling backwards, in my opinion. I'm just going to leave it there. All right. So we're going to move on. Like I told y'all, we got a bunch of stuff to get through. We're going to move on to, we're going to move on to a tough one. We're going to move on to a Detroit rapper. A Detroit rapper was denied a Lyft ride. And y'all may or may not believe why. Let's take a look at this. Let me share this. You guys brace yourself.
Rapper is going viral for something other than her music.
Fans know her as Dank DeMoss, and they're fuming after a Lyft driver allegedly denied her a ride because of her size. And Fox News' Jessica Dupnick is live in Detroit with this story. And my goodness, tell us how this all unfolded here, Jessica.
Well, it all unfolded on video. Deja Banlane whipped out her phone when this all happened. Now, the Lyft driver, he was kind enough and apologetic, but refused her a ride and said that she would not fit and that her weight couldn't be handled by his tires. Now she's filing a lawsuit.
Have you been in cars that size before?
Yes, I have. I've been in cars smarter than that, you know.
Deja Blanding tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit Lions watch party this month when her Lyft rolled up.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
But believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. You know, I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires, you know, like.
The driver said his tires could not handle her weight.
For every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL.
You know what? I don't never have to order Uber XL.
He apologized, canceled the ride, and left her there. The rapper says she's pretty tough.
I get the money and flip it and make some food.
Dank DeMoss, as she's known at the mic, is crushed by the whole situation.
I just want them to know, like, it really hurt my feelings.
It looks like a Lyft might be hurting pretty soon, too.
I knew it was illegal, and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Marco and Zach Runyon, say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, you know, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car, or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
This is very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. And this is something I used to get in trouble for in school. I'm telling y'all, when I get uncomfortable, sometimes I tend to laugh. It's not a laughing matter. It's really just not. But it is very uncomfortable. I'm over here looking at this attorney who's talking about it's the same thing as not putting somebody in your car for their religion or the color of their skin. Under law, I understand that may be the case. And to be totally honest, this is just a sad situation. It's a very sad situation that you hear stories like this. But like, my question is, do you really think that this attorney cares about this woman? Do you really think that the people that hear this story and that are saddened by it and that are going to speak out and say you shouldn't be able to turn somebody down for their size in a Lyft ride? Now, the reason why, you know what I would love to happen? I would love for this to kind of be that moment where, like she said, that it really hurt her feelings. I wish it would be that moment where okay, it hurts your feelings, but it actually gets you to identify and acknowledge a problem and to figure out somehow, some way to become healthier. Because what ends up happening is, whether you're like that's got to feel like a pretty bad situation, whether you're on a plane. And I'll be totally honest, like I've sat next to people that were, overweight on the plane. And those little seats obviously are not, like, they can't be comfortable for you. And a lot of times, in those seats, if you're overweight, you're like going into the next person's seat. I will do my best because I feel bad. I'll be totally honest. Because I feel bad for that person, I like do my best to kind of like slide over, be uncomfortable. Just because I just can't imagine how uncomfortable it must be for that person. But then I sit and wonder, like, are you doing people a favor by making them feel comfortable about a significant issue that, in my opinion, just being totally honest, you should feel uncomfortable about? If I'm being totally honest, you should feel uncomfortable about it, because the only reason why, or the only real motivation to change something, inspiration, reason, mostly comes out of discomfort. The only way to change something is to be uncomfortable. But and the reason, and when I say that the motivation to change, I mean, people don't always just do what's best for them. There's usually something, you hear the saying that people got to hit rock bottom before they actually make some changes. It's almost one of those things where you sit back and you just look at the results of something. You sit back and wonder, like, what if it was, were people healthier when you were allowed to shame obesity? Let me ask y'all this. Would it be better? How would you feel about, okay, let's say if there was a society, two societies. This society, they shamed being obese. This society is like America right now. If this society, because of the shame, has healthier people, I'm not talking about being sexy or anything else. I'm talking about just being healthy, a healthy BMI, body mass index, compared to this society that says, hey, you can be however you want. Matter of fact, we're going to take these petite models out of the Nike store. We're going to take these petite models out the store, and we're going to put some overweight folk. I kid you not. I had a picture. I don't know. We were at the store. We were at Garden State, and we were at this store. I think it's Trevor Matthews golf store that my dad likes, and they had. I told y'all this before. They had a mannequin that had a beer belly, or it was a dad bod, they called it. And I'm just sitting here like, damn, like all this, when you're trying to make people comfortable, they're never going to change. They're only going to change if they're in an uncomfortable place to go to comfort. So I almost wonder which society would be better if the only thing that we were worried about instead of feelings were health. What would we prioritize? Because I'll be totally honest. Society may accept people any way that they are, but when it comes to health, I don't think your health, like your health doesn't just accept anybody the way they are. It's just, I don't know. So Shy wrote, I like her music, but she tripping. And I think that she's tripping because society has convinced her and manipulated her. It's like everything, society just has to make everybody feel good. And this is, to me, a lot of the reason why you got kids growing up, thinking they're a butterfly, thinking I'm a kitty cat today, thinking, oh, I'm a woman today, I'm a man, whatever it is. I don't even want to get into it too much about that. But it's like, this is the reason, like, we just accept, like, should we be accepting everything? Should we not, tell people like, yo, like, imagine if instead of this attorney who's obviously going to do it for a money grab. Imagine if the first attorney told her, like, nah, to be totally honest, like, it is what it is. You need to lose some weight. I don't know. Like, that would be mean, right? That would be mean. But you know what's also messed up? When people die early because of their weight. When people can't enjoy life, their quality of life goes down because of their weight. When they feel that they can't do any and everything that everybody else is doing because of their weight. And the only reason why society is condoning this stuff and accepting this stuff, in my opinion, is because it's less maybe combative. And the higher ups, they convinced us to accept it because a lot of the powerful people in this country, one of the most powerful industries, big pharma, they benefit. People benefit. The more unhealthy you are, that means the more problems you have. The more problems you have, the more that people can sell you different products and the more you'll buy of them. So that's kind of how I felt about it. Let's keep going. At least hear the rest of this clip, and then we'll move on.
The lawsuit is filed. Since she posted the encounter on social media, other full-figured folks have reached out saying the same thing happened to them.
I can fit in this car.
No, believe me, you can.
Yes, I can. I really want people to see like what we go through as bigger people, you know.
I mean, why? Why do you want us to see what you go through? Like literally why? And this is why feelings can be so dangerous. Because you can look at this and feel bad and just only have negative things to say about the driver. But in all actuality, like it's almost like how a lot of these parents, isn't it like almost like child abuse? You know, an obese child, like you know how you get in trouble for spanking a kid? Let me ask y'all this. You can get in trouble with DIFUS from spanking a kid, right? Which do you think is going to do more harm to that child? Now, obviously, matter of fact, now let me not even go that route. Let me not even go that route because that's opening up a whole can of worms that I'm not trying to address. And I don't even know where the conversation is going to go once I do open it. But I just feel really bad. I feel sympathetic for people that are obese living in this society because this society has made it so comfortable for people to be unhealthy. And I don't think that that's the right thing. I don't think that's an honorable thing to do. I just don't think that it's I don't know if fair is the right word, but I just don't think there's a lot of integrity in just trying to make people feel comfortable about something that in all actuality is killing them. So let's keep going.
We did reach out to Lyft. They did not get back with us in time for this story. Now, Lyft, Uber, those rideshare companies, they can refuse passengers based on a perceived security threat. But according to Deja's attorneys, you cannot discriminate based on someone's weight. It's very clear in that cell phone video. That is why he denied her ride.
And keep in mind, the driver, they said, was respectful. I don't know if that makes a difference to y'all, but it's just a tough situation.
Reporting live on Detroit's west side, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
And because these Lyft drivers, their own personal rides, I mean, they turn people away, but they have some discretion, you're saying, but when it comes to some of these protected liberties, no.
You know what's wild? All of these people that are commenting on this, they seem to be in fairly good shape. I guarantee you if they had kids that look like her, they would be telling them every day, shaming them, doing whatever's you need to lose this weight. It's a problem. It's selfish. It's a lot of different things. And people may be saying, well, how is it selfish? Well, get on a plane. It's selfish when you put yourself, like when you don't take care of your health. To me, that's selfish because now you're going to get to a point in life where eventually somebody's going to have to take care of you. So I don't know. Hopefully we can figure out a better way to go about these things. Nobody wants to have somebody like hers feeling hurt, her feelings hurt. But hopefully if her feelings were really hurt, then hopefully that can be the rock bottom that she may need in order to change her day-to-day habits and just get healthier. Yeah. Matter of fact, yo, for anybody, you know what I was getting ready to do? I was about to say, like, yo, I would actually train anybody who's obese for free. Like, I would just do it. I would really try to help them, really try to create a meal plan for them, simply because it's somebody I can't say I understand, but I can guess that that's a very tough position to be in, and I know it's a very tough thing, especially when you get used to living a particular way. And the only reason why I would be hesitant to offer the services for free is because I just don't think that people appreciate things that they are not paying for. You get what I'm saying? So I almost think that if I really care about helping the person, that I would charge them, just because even if you give the money back, you don't tell them, but charge them just because they know that they're paying for something. So therefore they're more likely to appreciate it and give their all, because it is a tough thing. But we'll leave it there. We'll leave that there. All right. Well, damn. Oh man. Hold on. Shy wrote she was bigger. She lost like 100 pounds. She's on a weight loss journey. Okay. Damn. Well, I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her. I've never heard of her before now, but I'm really rooting for her. Shy wrote she needs a car of her own and she'll be comfortable. Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And that's why, not to take it to politics, we're going to get into a little bit later with RFK Jr., but that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about RFK Jr. Prioritizing the health and well-being of the American citizens so that we don't have to rely on all these pills and all these gimmicky microwave approaches to losing weight. We can just become healthier. So that's where I'll leave it. Let's move on to the next. What do we have next? I think we got a video on X. I think we're gonna. What do we got? I think we got the former president of Kenya had some interesting things to say. I love this man's stance. Take a listen to this. Take a listen to this video. So this is, hold on, let me go back for a second. This is the former president of Kenya on Trump cutting off foreign aid. So Trump cut off some foreign aid. Apparently Kenya was one of those places that was cut off. Listen to what the former president of Kenya had to say.
People the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya, ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah?
Instead of crying, what are we going to do to help ourselves? What did he say? Hold on. Go back. We got to hear this brother again.
He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bwana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves?
This is a wake-up call to you to say, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Now, of course, he mentioned that we don't pay taxes, or that since they don't pay taxes, therefore, why would you expect Trump to do anything or America to do anything for Kenya? You don't pay taxes there. What if a lot of us looked at our current situations as wake-up calls to do for self? This is no different than Malcolm X preaching, or Marcus Garvey, anybody that they used to call a nationalist. When it came to Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, they were black nationalists. A lot of people called Trump and his America First approach white nationalist, American nationalist, whatever you want to call it, because it's centered around uniting amongst yourselves and doing for self, not relying on other people outside of your group. But what are you going to do to help uplift yourself? Not depending on the Democrats, not depending on the liberals, not depending on the Republicans, not depending on Trump. What are we going to do to elevate ourselves? And just that mindset will shift our perspective, in my opinion, and then we will start moving in the right direction. Rather than begging people to do for us, you create an opportunity for yourself, so that way you don't have to beg other people to exchange your value for something in return. That's just, let's keep going.
Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya, ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah?
What are we going to do?
To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time.
Now, this brother, this can apply to a lot of different areas when it comes to the U.S. One of the things that, I've talked about before is our money being spent and supporting things that have absolutely nothing to do with American citizens. And we're going to hear, I believe, Trump or maybe his speaker talk on some of these things that American money, tax-paying Americans, our dollars, we're going to hear about what they were going towards and how a lot of Democrats are upset about this simply because it's Trump doing it. But in reality, it's just doing what makes sense. Why are we supporting NATO more efforts, contributing more than everybody else? Why are all of our dollars going to Ukraine? Why are we jumping out the window to give Israel or to give Palestine? Why is our money going outside the country when here in America, then when we have a hurricane, we don't have hurricane relief funding? Why is money going out of the country when here we got fire departments, police departments that are underfunded? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. But then people will have whatever name to call Trump. He's racist. He's this, he's that. This is why world leaders respect Trump. This is why world leaders respect Trump. People, if I'm a competitor, I don't care whether it's sports, anything else. If I see somebody else going hard for their team and not caring about other, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm going hard I'm prioritizing my team first. You respect that. Matter of fact, that's the type of player that you want on your team. But we don't look at it like that. We don't.
For us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
That's it. And it's funny. It's like we're using our resources for the wrong things. Look at the black dollar, how it doesn't circulate in the community. We're gonna complain about everything under the sun without ever looking in the mirror at the things that we could be doing better to put ourselves in a better position. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. Let me speaking of maybe we should go to let's go to Trump. Matter of fact, let's go to this Trump video. Was going to share a different video, but let's go to Trump's video. I believe Trump had some he gave some clarity. Matter of fact, we're going to play this. Let's play this Chuck Schumer video because it was just interesting to see Chuck Schumer talk about it and then or to hear him talk about it and then to hear Trump clarify some things. So Trump's been putting together a lot of executive orders, all different types of stuff. And honestly, it's been hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff. Shout out to Bug in the building. It's been hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff. So let's listen to Chuck Schumer talk about Trump's funding freeze. And then we're going to hear from Trump. And you guys tell me if things are aligned. You guys give me your feedback on it. You guys tell me exactly how you think.
President Trump plunged the country into chaos. Without a shred of warning, the Trump administration announced a halt to virtually all federal funds across the country. In an instant, Donald Trump has shut off billions, perhaps trillions of dollars that directly support states, cities, towns, schools, hospitals, small businesses, and most of all, American families. This is a dagger at the heart of the average American family in red states, in blue states, in cities, in suburbs, in rural areas. It is just outrageous. Funds for things like disaster assistance, local law enforcement, rural hospitals, aid to the elderly, food for people in need.
Whoa. Did he just say law enforcement?
The average American family in red states, in blue states, in cities, in suburbs, in rural areas. It is just outrageous. Funds for things like disaster assistance, local law enforcement, rural hospitals.
Disaster assistance. Wasn't Mayorkas? Didn't they move some funding around for FEMA? I forget the exact story. They moved some funding around to different areas or something. I believe they sent money. Wasn't it a situation where we sent money to another country and then Hurricane Helene happened and Mayorkas was saying we don't have any money? But now Chuck Schumer's getting on here and talking about Trump, talking about the programs that he's getting rid of, that they went towards disaster assistance. And notice how he said law enforcement, right?
It is just outrageous. Funds for things like disaster assistance, local law enforcement. These people, like, it's to the point where people, if you're voting Democrat, please, if you're voting for whoever, just be able to look at this stuff with a certain level of objectivity that allows you to see past the BS. Just 4.5 years ago, the Democrats were the party that were screaming, defund the police. So when an incident happens, George Floyd, it's okay for the rest of the country, it's okay for Democrats, politicians to use their voice, to use their influence to cause an uprising, we talk about Trump and saying that he caused this insurrection. Let's take a step back 5 years ago. We were supposed to be in the House and Democrats and liberals were okaying people to go out and protest. They didn't say anything when people were burning down, taking over police precincts, burning down stores, burning down cities. It seemed like taking over cities. And then they were the ones screaming to defund the police. These were the people screaming to defund the police. Now when Trump does something, you want to shine a light and saying he's taking away money from local law enforcement. You don't get to play it both sides. This is why these people, they don't even realize. This is why Trump won. This is why he's appealing to people. This is why he's appealing to people that even voted for Kamala Harris, especially to y'all fellas out there that voted for Kamala Harris. Y'all only did it because probably your wife or your girlfriend, or you didn't want your homegirls to be looking at you funny. Let's just be honest, because I know there was a whole lot of that. This is why Trump won. He doesn't play these political games like these people play. Matter of fact, it's like he says he's doing exactly the things that he said he was going to do. That's why people are so surprised. It's like the people voted for him to do all this stuff. Get rid of the migrant crisis, stop the migrant crisis. This is what people voted for him for. And these Democrats, they don't even realize they're standing up against it, trying to save the migrants, save this. And just because it's against Trump, they don't even realize, the people voted for this. The people spoke. Do we realize we live in a country where there's a lot more from my understanding, there's a lot more Democrats than Republicans in this country. So when Democrats lose, maybe that's something that you should really look at and say, like, how did this happen? Instead of just keep playing the same back and forth games. Let's keep going. Rural hospitals, aid to the elderly, food for people in need, all are on the chopping block in this new administration. The fear monger.
Why? They need tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy. And just like the January 6th pardons,
they keep telling y'all it's tax cuts for the wealthy. Yo, I'm interested to see how all this plays out. I'm interested to see how all this plays out because they act as if Trump is only doing stuff for the wealthy. If Trump can start pulling up receipts showing maybe people in the middle class, maybe people in the low class, whatever class, that he's actually saving them some money, it's going to get very interesting, very spooky for the Democrats, as if it's not already there.
this decision is lawless, dangerous, destructive, cruel. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. I spoke to my Attorney General this morning. She's head of the State Attorneys General Association. They're going to court right away on this horror.
Man, yo, politicians shouldn't be able to read. You shouldn't be able to read. You should be able to. You should have to go up there and I think my Doug said it the other day. He said when pastors are reading the script, yo, say what you have to say. Put the paper away. Have a conversation with me. Have a conversation with me. Instead, you're reading. It's I don't know. It is what it is. All right, so let's go to the White House press secretary. Let's hear, based on what Chuck Schumer just said, there's a lot of terrible things that Donald Trump is putting in place. So let's see what they have to say on their side.
Substantive question. Yesterday, the White House Office of Management and Budget directed across the board freeze with some exceptions for individual assistance, we understand, to federal grants. It's caused a lot of confusion around the country among Head Start providers, among providers services to homeless veterans, Medicaid providers, states saying they're having trouble accessing the portal. Could you help us clear up some of the confusion, give some certainty to folks? And also, is that uncertainty, how does that uncertainty service the president's voters?
Well, I think there's only uncertainty in this room amongst the media. There's no uncertainty in this building. So let me provide.
Yo, by the way, I had no idea she's only 27 years old. Sharp. I don't know what I'm just telling you how she's responding to stuff. Sharp. I don't know what her morals are. I don't know. Sharp.
The certainty and the clarity that all of you need. This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. However, it is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. That is something that President Trump campaigned on. That's why he has launched DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, who is working alongside OMB. And that's why OMB sent out this memo last night, because the president signed an executive order directing OMB to do just this. And the reason for this is to ensure that every penny that is going out the door is not conflicting with the executive orders and actions that this president has taken. So what does this pause mean? It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for the Green New scam that has cost American taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. No more funding for Green New Deal social engineering policies. Again, people who are receiving individual assistance, you will continue to receive that. And President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
Thanks, Caroline.
Sure.
How long is this pause going to last, and how is the Trump administration recommending that organizations that rely on federal funding make payroll, pay their rent in the meantime?
It is a temporary pause, and the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing the federal funding that has been going out the door. Again, not for individual assistance, but for all of these other programs that I mentioned. I also spoke with the incoming director of OMB this morning, and he told me to tell all of you that the line to his office is open for other federal government agencies across the board. And if they feel that programs are necessary and in line with the president's agenda, then the Office of Management and Budget will review those policies. I think this is a very responsible measure. Again, the past 4 years, we've seen the Biden administration spend money like drunken sailors. It's a big reason we've had an inflation crisis in this country, and it's incumbent upon this administration to make sure, again, that every penny is being accounted for honestly.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding, at least for a period of time?
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working.
Can I just intervene here for a second, because she's on a roll? Honestly, I just had to look up her age again. Isn't this what people are asking for? Like, isn't this what people are asking for? To pay less taxes across the board? To not have our tax dollars go to these programs that it literally just seems like we're just funneling money and laundering money. I don't know what it is. Just throwing money at these different efforts and agendas that the majority of Americans don't support. Isn't this what, if this puts more money in your pocket, how would you feel about it? How does the government make money? The government only makes money a few different ways. Taxes that they collect from the citizens, or to get into the market. And if the government gets into the market, then that means it's competing against the citizens that are in the market. The only other way is tariffs. So Trump has put tariffs on y'all know he loves the tariffs. He uses it as leverage. He did it with Colombia. He's putting tariffs on all these other countries. He's incentivizing people to do business. He's incentivizing companies to have their companies in America, so therefore we can hire more American workers, so we can control a lot more of the market, so we're not banking on getting things from overseas, from a lot of our competitors that are not necessarily aligned with us. Like a lot of the places we're getting stuff from, we consider these people our enemies, but then we get all of our stuff from China. We consider them our competitors, but we're supporting their businesses. How does that make sense? So if he's implementing tariffs, if he's stopping a lot of the funding going to, and a lot of y'all may be saying, well, what is this funding that's being sent over to all these different countries? Clearly, y'all just saw the former president of Kenya. He didn't seem to disagree with it. He said, that's what he should be doing. Looking out for his people first, looking out for his country, American citizens. Have we become so emotional and illogical that now everything, just because it's Trump that's doing it, we're just going to look at it as if it's a negative thing? This is how we get in trouble. This is why Black people have voted blindly with the Democratic Party for so long and have gotten nothing in return, because we're still here in 2025 complaining about the same problems as if we're in the 50s or dealing with Jim Crow. This is why, because we move with so much emotion. We're manipulated and bamboozled with emotional manipulation, and it just lands us in the same position. Let's keep going.
And their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, DOJ and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. DOJ and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous.
$50 million to fund condoms in Gaza. I don't get it. I really just don't get it. It's like, how are we? Matter of fact, you know what's so crazy? I'm just appreciative of the fact that we're finding out about a lot of this stuff. Because truth be told, a lot of this stuff wasn't brought to the forefront. Trump has been in office a week and a few days, a week and 2 days.
And think about the things that are being exposed. We got the RFK, JFK, MLK files getting out there. We have more transparency with our government spending than we've ever had before. What's the problem? What's really the issue here? Shouldn't we be celebrating these things? I don't want my money going towards Gaza's got to fund their own condoms.
Monstrous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good stewards of tax dollars.
So now let's pivot a bit. Let's hear from Trump. Let's hear what Trump had to say on it. Because, she could be saying all this stuff. It sounds good. Let's actually hear what Trump had to say on it. Let me make sure that this is shared. 1 second, excuse me.
We stopped an attempt to make an illicit payment for illegal alien resettlement. We canceled $181 million in DEI.
Hold on.
We identified and stopped $50 million being sent to Gaza to buy condoms for Hamas. 50 million. And you know what's happened to them? They've used them as a method of making bombs. How about that? We stopped an attempt to make an illicit payment for illegal alien resettlement. We canceled $181 million in DEI training contracts.
I just want to focus on the illegal alien settlement because this is a point that I missed when the former president of Kenya was speaking. If he said that that's what a president's supposed to do, prioritize the American citizens, how when we think about infrastructure, right? If Chuck Schumer thinks that it's very bad for us to not have enough funding for local law enforcement, then shouldn't a light or an alarm go off, a bell go off, where you realize that, okay, the LA fire chief, she's been complaining that they're underfunded, right? Police saying that they're underfunded, right? If we're spending all these money on all these different areas, but we're not even taking care of the police and fire in our own country, how does this make sense? How does this make sense? What did the former president of Kenya said? You look out for your own citizens first. Why are we prioritizing and incentivizing people to come over here that we know we're going to have our citizens use our tax dollars to take care of them? Why are we asking them to come, incentivizing them to come, putting all of our tax dollars into them, or a lot of our tax dollars into them, if we can't even afford to have proper policing and give them everything, all the support and the funding that they need in order to do their jobs? These are the people that protect us, fire and police. Shouldn't that be prioritized over any other thing that comes to illegal migrants?
It's just for the training about that. We stopped an attempt to make an illicit payment for illegal alien resettlement. We canceled $181 million in DEI training contracts. This is just for the training of people in DEI, which has been terminated and completely terminated. And we paused $1.7 billion in unauthorized payments to foreign organizations, including stopping more than $40 million that was on its way out the door to the very corrupt World Health Organization, which has not done its job and not done it properly. We also,
please make sure that you like and subscribe. That's going to help boost the algorithm, get as many different perspectives in on the conversation as possible. That's what we shoot for. Thank you in advance.
we also blocked $45 million for diversity scholarships in Burma. 45, that's a lot of money for diversity scholarships in Burma. You can imagine where that money went. These were the types of payments, and many others. I could stand here all day and tell you things that we found, and we have to find them quickly because we want the money to flow to proper places.
This is the difference between a politician and a businessman. Politicians just spend money without even caring the debt that we go in, where the money's coming from. They just feel that we can just print more. Trump comes in, he's already Doge. They're already getting more efficient. Another area that they're getting more efficient in is a video that I'm going to share with you guys now, where, and this has been something that a lot of people are talking about with the federal employees. Take a look at this video. Take a look at this video. You guys let me know your thoughts. because apparently a lot of the federal employees, like in my opinion, when I hear the deal that these federal employees are getting, first off, I don't know if this number is correct, but I think that they said like only 6% of federal employees were reporting to the office. If that's that sounds a little bit crazy to me. So maybe I have the wrong number. Totally open to being wrong. Actually, I'm going to assume that I'm wrong because that just sounds a little bit crazy. I forget which videos. I watch so many of these videos throughout the day. Sometimes I forget exactly where the information is coming from. And sometimes I forget when I'm daydreaming compared to actually hearing a video, just being totally honest with y'all. All right, so take a look at this video and we're just going to continue the convo. Please make sure that you like and subscribe. Appreciate it.
Just for clarification purposes, because it was incorrectly reported yesterday, we have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them.
Can I ask y'all, like, why are people so upset with this? Like, these are federal employees. Yeah, you have to go to the office or find another job. And I don't know too many people that are offering you where it's like, okay, if you don't want to come in, we'll pay you to September. They're talking about paying people for 8 months. What are people complaining about? Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm off in the things that I'm hearing. Maybe I'm off in how I'm processing this, but I just don't understand. The goal is to trim down, and I believe Trump has talked about it before. He may touch on it right here, but the goal has been for a lot of presidents to shrink the government. It's grown too big, and who do you think? It's like, who do you think pays for these federal employees? Where do you think they get those funds from? It comes from, I'm assuming, tax dollars, right? Either tax dollars or they're printing money, which is going to cause inflation. So yeah, it's okay for us to say like, yo, first off, we got to shrink this government. It's too big. It needs to become more efficient. Isn't that what it's, but see, that's the difference once again between a politician and a business person. A business person trims fat, wants to be more efficient. Politicians, they don't care. They do not care.
We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive, and it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard.
It's unfair even if you're not working hard because you're paying for them. If you have a federal job and you're not working, we know how this goes. You're at home, you're not working. Most people, I don't know. Look, maybe you are the exception to where when you stay at home, you're working harder than when you actually go into the office. Maybe you're the exception, but think about the rule, not you, because you're special. We're talking about everybody. That's like being a coach and telling the kids, hey, you're going to do all these different things. And the coach not showing up at practice. No coach is being there and expecting them to do exactly and hold it to the same standard that a coach would. If that was the case, then we wouldn't need coaches. People are not working. Look, you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, you're on Amazon, you're on your whatever store that you're breezing through. You're looking at vacation spots. No, that's not what I want. What I want my dollars going to. Maybe you guys feel differently. I don't know.
From job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government. They're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years, from even before COVID. But they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and Most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may ask these people to prove that they didn't have another job during their so-called employment with the United States of America, because if they did, that would be unlawful. As you understand, a lot of people are getting paychecks, but they're actually working other jobs. So they'll have to prove that to us that they weren't in any.
Nah. And I know a lot of people that work these federal jobs and they brag about the bet. No. That's why people want all these government contracts. That's why even when I used to do the medical device sales, people always wanted to sell products to like the VAs. Like you go to the Bronx VA hospital and you sell your product to them and they're damn near overpaying for the product. Because they don't care. It's not coming out of their pockets. So they'll pay extra. Where is that money coming from? The taxpayers. This is the difference between a politician and a business person.
In the event, we're requiring them to show up to work or be terminated. We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient, and that's what we've been looking to do for many, many decades, frankly.
Have you met with?
Oh no, we're not gonna go there. But Bill Gates had something interesting to say about his meeting with Trump. But we're gonna actually go somewhere else. We're gonna go to Caroline Kennedy. Actually, do I want to do the Kennedy one first? No. Hold on. We're going to do something different. So we're going to watch this one video. And actually, well, it's a thread of videos. I got to be totally honest. Then we're going to get into all the Kennedy stuff. So there was in Irving, Texas, the Irving School District. One of the administrators was caught on undercover footage, advising a parent on how to, hold on, let me go back. Hold on. On how to circumvent Texas law and allow boys to play in girls' sports. Once again, a school administrator. Matter of fact, let's just watch it. Let me see if I could pull that up for you. My fault. I keep trying to keep it in full screen. I don't know if the entire thread's going to play here, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hold on. All right. Here we go. Do I have the thread? Yes, I have the thread. All right. Let's play it. All right. I want to make sure that I get the videos in order. You guys aren't going to believe this. All right. So this is the executive director of campus operations, a guy named Rennie Lizardo for Irving, their school district. So Irving School District. So he met with an undercover journalist posing as the parent of a transgender girl, which transgender girl is a somebody that was born a male, to discuss how to allow her son to compete in girl sports. So an undercover journalist posing as a parent of a transgender girl, biologically a boy, to discuss how to allow her son to compete in girl sports. This is I'm
thinking of moving my daughter, who's transgender, to Texas in general. We have family out here, and we're just concerned about like potential transphobia.
Hold on, time out. See, here we go. Dot in the building. Dot, come on down. Don't even trip. You tried to slide in the little comment. Come on down. What about the golf trips Trump was taking during his first term? Dot, show me where that was taxpayer dollars, and we can talk about that as well. See, this is the difference. You're getting ready to see the difference between somebody that's stuck on the Democrats and somebody that doesn't care to criticize either. If Trump did that, he's wrong. I don't want my tax dollars going to Trump playing golf. Matter of fact, I don't want my tax dollars going to Joe Biden ordering whatever he's ordering while he's at the beach in Delaware. I don't want my tax dollars going to Barack Obama playing whoever the politician is. But it's so funny how every time we talk about the things that are being spent, the good things that Donald Trump may do, we always got to criticize. And I know you threw the LOL in there before, but let's be real. That's what you really wanted to say what you said without the LOL there. What about the golf trips? Why do we always have to? It's like every time we address something that the Democrats or the liberals are doing something, we always, well, what about Trump doing this? How much? Let's break it down. How much do Trump's golf courses cost? I mean, how much do Trump's golf visits cost? Matter of fact, what courses is he playing on? Is he playing on his own courses? How much do we think these things cost? Come on. Matter of fact, you trolling. You trolling. You trolling, so I ain't even going to take it there. Come on, man. Is it that hard for us to give Trump credit for something? Is it really that hard? And this is a bigger point. When we feel like we have to defend these Democrats so much, we feel that we got to defend the Democrats so much that every time somebody says something that may have Trump look like in a positive light, we just got to throw something out there that makes him look like bad. Dot, let me ask you this, Dot. How do you feel about your money going towards the wars between Russia and Ukraine? How do you feel about your money going towards Israel and Palestine? How do you feel about your money going towards providing condoms to Gaza? How do you feel about your money going towards Kenya that Trump stopped? How do you feel about your money going towards all these different things? But then we're going to bring it back to something as simple as Trump paying golf? What did Queez write? Shit, he do got a lot of his own courses. Like, what are we talking about? But this is what happens. Let's just be honest. People hate Donald Trump, but we don't realize that our hatred for Donald Trump is the reason why Democrats are allowed to make us all these promises that they make year after year, election after election, and not do anything for us, because they know that Black people are going to be on the front lines of defending any and everything that Democrats and liberals do, even though the Democrats and liberals do the least for the Black people that vote for them. How does this happen? Like, how do we get to this mindset? We're not supposed to be so emotionally attached to these Democrats where every time we bring up a criticism about them, we got to bring up a criticism for Donald Trump. Let's just be real. Like, all right, let's get into the video. Let's get into the video. All right, let me back it up a little bit. So we're talking about the trans with the Texas schools. Y'all take a look at this. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. Dot trolling.
I'm thinking of moving my daughter, who's transgender, to Texas in general. We have family out here, and we're just concerned about like potential transphobia and bigotry and stuff like that.
Which you hear, I mean, Texas.
Yeah. I'm thinking of moving my daughter.
Let's go to the next video. My fault. It's like a thread, so it's going to be a little bit.
Is that
I believe in some places you can.
So if you can get that done,
Okay.
and you turn us a birth certificate that says this gender,
Okay.
that's the gender we deal with.
Okay.
He's telling her that if you change the birth certificate to a female gender, then that's what they'll go with. Here you have a grown man. Dorch, my brother. You have a daughter. How do you feel about these liberal Democrats pushing these agendas, pushing this ideology that it's okay for a biological male boy to be playing sports against a woman? These Democrats, and it's like, let me ask y'all a question. 20 years ago, if somebody said that boys should be playing sports against women, that would be one of those things where it's like, yo, I can't vote for this type of person. Listen to what they just said. They just said that they think boys should be playing sports against girls. Look at this. I can't vote for this person. He put tampons in boys' bathrooms. But y'all continue to vote for these people. And these crazy, they got drag queens reading books to kids in school. They got books in school showing boys how to have sexual acts with other boys. How did we get here? Yo, I just don't understand. I'm just, see, and Dot said he's not defending Democrats. You are. You are by saying well, let me ask you this. Okay, you're not defending Democrats. I just gave a list of a whole bunch of things that Trump was doing. You said you're not defending Democrats. I believe you. We just had a whole bunch of things that Trump saved us, tax-paying dollars, right? He saved some of our tax-paying dollars, whether it's cutting the government employees, trimming down the fat there, or whether it's trimming down the fat where a lot of our money is going overseas. I don't know if you were on when we showed the president of Kenya, which actually he said that Donald Trump should be doing that. So I'm just wondering, why do we not give credit? Why didn't I get a comment about that showing maybe some support? Like, yo, I like that I like that thing that Trump did. But then it's just a negative comment about what he did. I'm just wondering. But then we say we're not defending the Democrats. During the Trump administration, they gave out $40 million for condoms too. Let's say that they did. Are you happy that they stopped it? Are you happy that he's stopping it the week that he came in? Are you happy that he's stopping it now? So now we're gonna go back 8 years or 4 years, whatever, and we're gonna say during Trump's first, you said during the Trump administration they gave out $40 million for condoms too. You're saying that's what was done before? I don't know. Is that a thing? Not aware of it. And if he did it, then he's wrong for doing it then. I disagree with it. But you see how I can call out the negative stuff that Trump does? There's stuff that I disagree with Trump. I have no problem calling it out. But black people, in my opinion, are so trained to be aligned with the Democrats and to see a guy like Trump, see Republicans as racist, that every little thing that they do, we criticize. We lean so much Democratic. We lean that way so much that is the reason why they don't do anything for us. That is the reason why. Because we're the most critical. Why are we the most critical of Donald Trump? Why are black people the most critical of Donald Trump? Shouldn't we be the most critical of the people that we actually vote for? We actually vote for Democrats, have supporting them. And tell me one thing that Joe Biden got done while he was in office that contributed to your life becoming better. Can you give me 5 things? Can you give me 3? I can give you, I feel like 3 or 4 things in Trump's first week that he did. Come on. It's Dot. I'm telling you, it's a no. You fighting a no-win battle, and so am I in a lot of ways. But come on, bro. Come on. We got to call it. We got to be a little bit more objective with this stuff. Let's get back to this crazy guy over here. Listen to the things that these are liberal policies that is happening right now. This man is supposed to be looking out for the well-being of our kids in the school, right? In the school district. But instead, he's encouraging a mother to change her son's birth certificate to female, so that way her son can play sports in that particular district against other women, taking opportunities away from women. Aren't the Democrats supposed to be the party of the feminist movement? Aren't y'all supposed to support women's rights? How is it supporting women's rights by allowing a biologically born boy the ability to compete in sports against women when we know that we have certain advantages, right? Isn't that why we love DEI? I thought DEI was supposed to combat the advantages of white privilege and all these advantages that white Americans have built over time. So on one end, we're trying to combat the advantages that people have, but then on the other end, because it just aligns with the Democratic Party, we're just sitting back saying like, oh, well, you know, these biologically born boys, they can take away state titles from women. They can slam them in wrestling. They can take away a 100-meter dash and win by 2 seconds, to where the girl has absolutely no chance of ever winning now that boy's competing. It's not consistent energy that these Democrats and liberals come with. It just is what it is. I have absolutely no problem engaging in this conversation because I'm confident in it. It's not consistent energy. Samantha Crime Bring, shout out to you. Really like your channel and take on politics. Great to hear your opinions. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Please make sure that you subscribe. We'd love to have you back. Mama Lay in the building. Yes, sir. Mama Lay gonna let you know. Welcome, Samantha. We love it here. Please subscribe. Come on. Let's keep looking at the craziness.
Okay. So if we can get it changed on
Yeah.
on any kind of record, like a state record, and it says female, so then my daughter would be able to play on the girls' sports team then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer.
Sure, sure.
And you know, Texas is super conservative.
Right.
So, how do I say this legally? If it's not illegal if you don't get caught, right? Like,
right.
If no one knew,
right,
then we're good. But if a parent from if a parent found out, or a student found out, and said, "Wait a second, this person isn't this gender,"
right,
and they sued the district, we'd be in trouble.
Okay.
But we can also say, we didn't know.
We didn't know.
Right.
Okay.
So there's a plausible deniability, I guess. It's kind of like who knows this information and how little amount of people can know.
Okay.
Did you tell a parent that if they just changed the birth certificate out of state before they moved in, that they would be able to, child would be able to compete?
I've never had a conversation like that before.
Never had a conversation like that?
No. I've had a parent come and ask me what something like that would look like. I told them we have no idea. I let them know that in Irving. Am I being interviewed right now?
Yeah. You also told the parent that it's not illegal if you don't get caught. Is that the message that this district likes to convey to people?
No, that's not what I said. That's something that I never said. No.
Oh man, it's not even funny. Let's keep going. Let's
Okay,
keep going.
That helps. Okay.
Hey, how are you doing? I'm Adam Gillette with Accuracy in Media.
Oh my gosh, what's happening?
We have a recording of Mr. Lizardo coaching a district parent moving to the district on how they can have a biological boy compete in girls' sports in the district. He explained that if they change the birth certificate before they move in, then, quote, this conversation never happened. Is that the message that this district conveys to parents, that it's not illegal if you don't get caught?
Well, first of all, is this real?
This is real.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't recall that conversation with any parent.
Well,
that's okay, we have it recorded.
If there's a way to change on the birth certificate and no one knows.
There's a lot going on right there. I'm not even going to comment on the things that come to mind, but let's just keep going. Keep going.
We don't have to have a birth certificate.
Okay.
They're going to push for it, though. They're going to push and push and push.
Okay.
And they'll ask, why can't you get the birth certificate?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can enroll tomorrow without it. Like, here's everything I have, but they'll keep, and because the most important thing is that your child starts moving.
Right, yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're not going to keep pushing for it all year.
Right.
Like, where's this birth certificate?
Well, I mean, isn't there a large number of undocumented?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why,
okay.
That's why we have laws around, just start educating the child, but continue to get whatever information you can. Are there people that sooner or later were like, we're just never going to get them and move on? Absolutely.
Okay.
Technically,
I think there may be one more video.
I did more progressive parts of Texas. So you're not the only person who's like, how can I get around this?
Right.
So, again, hopefully no questions are asked and we move forward, but because we are not in the business of witch hunts and who's not what they say they are, and let's go after them.
Yo, it is. This is crazy. Crazy. This is the last video right here.
Passport is listed on the birth certificate. Unless you have an updated birth certificate. We see a lot of the.
Hold up. We gotta see that person was. The LGBT youth program coordinator. Yo, how did we get in this position? This is insane. Insane. I just don't get it. I really just don't get it. Like, this is one of those things where this is why so many Democrats, that the ones that did lead the Democratic Party, this was my first time voting for somebody that wasn't a Democrat. This is why. It's insane, the things that they're pushing. You have school officials, this LGBT youth program coordinator, encouraging people to figure out a way to lie about their child's gender so they can play sports against girls, and we're supposed to be looking out for our young women. We're supposed to be caring about our young girls, right? Aren't the Democrats the party of believe all women? Well, do you believe the women when they tell you that it's unfair for them to compete against boys? Do we believe that, or do we just ignore that?
The law that students can only participate in the sport that's listed on the birth certificate. Unless you have an updated birth certificate. We see a lot of the bigger things at the high school level, like they're traveling and
The executive director of DEI.
they're going to do an overnight stay somewhere, and can you have mixed rooms?
We think it's incredibly important for parents to know that administrators in their district are following the laws. What's the point of passing laws if highly paid government employees are going to ignore them?
And this is just another example of people don't care about stuff. They just, let me circle back to something real quick. Let me circle back to something. What is so bad about Donald Trump? Like, really, like, I'm really wondering, like, what is so bad about Donald Trump? We are currently in a country where we have boys playing sports against women, where Juwanna Man, the movie Juwanna Man, has come to life in reality. That was supposed to be a joke, but it's now our reality. We're living in a world where we're incentivizing migrants to come to America to live in impoverished areas that are majority minorities, but the minorities are the ones that are supporting those efforts by voting for the Democrats. But the minorities that actually live in those areas, the ones that actually live in Chicago, the ones that actually live in the Bronx, the ones that actually live in these cities, they're the ones complaining about them. So now we're using federal funds to take care, to house, to educate, to support all of these migrants. But then we complain at the same time about funding being taken away from police and firefighters. And just 4 years ago, we had a political party aligned in saying that we need to defund the police, to the point where talk to a police officer right now. Talk to a police officer right now. Matter of fact, I ain't going to call nobody out, but I think we got one in the building, maybe a couple. Talk to a police officer about how hard it is for a police officer to do their job right now, based on the Democrats and the things that they've been pushing. And I'll be totally honest. A lot of the black police officers are probably still voting for Kamala Harris. They probably still voted for Kamala Harris. So here you're voting for Democrats. This would be a question that I ask black police officers. Or I'm sorry, let me not say black police officers. Let me just say a lot of y'all Democrats, a lot of the police officers that vote Democrat. Let me ask y'all a question. How do you vote for a party that made it popular to defund the police when that is directly aligned with you not having the support that you need to do your job and to ensure that you can make it home to your family at night? How do you vote for that party? I'm really just wondering, like, how, and I'm assuming that you have a good reason for it. So my question would be like, damn, you really hate Donald Trump that much? I'm just asking why. Maybe there's a reason that I'm missing. As passionate as I am about a lot of the takes that I have, let me address this as well. I wish, oh man, we talked about this earlier when I did the podcast with my big bro Pete, and this is another thing that I want to, and I think that this also comes into play with Donald Trump. I think that we're intimidated by like men. We have a culture in society where we're intimidated by men, like strong men. Men that are not going to do everything to just appease to what women want. And well, you know, I want my daughter to be my best friend. I want my son to be my best. I think we have a society that's intimidated by men. And I'm going to give you an example of this. This is something that I've had to change the way that I communicate, especially with friends. And most of the time it's when we're talking about politics, just being totally honest. But You know how in school, and I may have mentioned this before on previous shows, but you know how in school when you're writing a paper, an opinion piece, or you're writing your thesis, whatever it may be, weren't we taught in school to not use words like I believe, in my opinion, I think? We're supposed to just say the sky is blue and then give supporting evidence as to why the sky is blue. Because when you say, oh, I think, I believe, it takes away strength from whatever it is that you're saying, right? Our society is so soft right now, so soft, so emotional, that I realize that in a lot of the conversations that I have about politics, I have to just constantly say it. And I say it on the show all the time. I'm open to the fact that I could be wrong. But just because there's a chance that I may be wrong in what I'm saying does not mean that I have to whisper it. And well, let me not voice my opinion because I'm not 100% sure that I'm right on this. No, I'm confident enough to say that what I'm saying, and it's not like I lose confidence by being wrong about something. I'll acknowledge that I'm wrong. Y'all know we have a segment on this show called Dumb Shit I Said the Other Day, because sometimes I say something that's wrong. And I have to go back and correct it because I don't want y'all going out there, y'all trusting me that what I'm saying is correct. I don't want y'all to just go out there and just run with it if I'm telling you something wrong. You don't hear news stations doing that, but I do it because I don't care. Like, if I'm wrong, correct me. I'm cool with it. Clearly, I've been open to being wrong, because if you go back and look at a lot of my videos that I was posting, whether it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, speaking on a lot of these same things, I saw the world completely differently. So if I changed, then clearly I was open to being wrong, because a lot of people that I talked to, y'all got the same arguments that we had 10 years ago when we were talking about this stuff. But going back to the point that I'm making, we have such a soft society. Now, every conversation I go into, I got to be like, well, this is just my opinion. Well, this is the way that I see it. Based on my experience, these are the things that I'm noticing. Like, why can't we just have straightforward conversation and say, like, yo, this is it? And if somebody else says they wrong, then, yo, you're wrong. Cool. Like, you're wrong. So what? People are so insecure. People are so scared of being wrong. People are so scared of confident people. It makes them uncomfortable. Confident people make people uncomfortable. And this is the society that we're living in right now. And I see it time after time in my conversations. And I see it time after time in other people that present a confident front in the things that they're saying. People just get like, they're just annoyed by it. Like, they're just intimidated by it for whatever reason. They are simply intimidated by it. Let's move on to the next topic, the last topic that we have, and bring my man RFK Jr. Shout out to my brother Queez. Queez, I want to make sure that this is the same one that you sent over, Alex Jones. Yeah, this is the 1 minute 22 one. All right. So let me we're gonna play this video about RFK. We got actually a couple different to play from RFK. Let me go to the one. I want to make sure that it's the right one, Queez. It's Alex Jones. Yeah, this video is. Oh, this is the long one. Wait. Nah, that's not it. Hold on. RFK Jr. is dismantling the deep state. All right. Let me find this video. You guys are going to enjoy this. Brother Queez for sending it over. We're going to take a little bit of a look at this. Hold on. They changed the video. Oh, no. 4 minutes and 35. Why is this one saying? I feel like the video. Oh, it is 4 minutes and 35 seconds. All right, we're watching the right one. I just wanted to make sure. All right, let's take a look at this. Y'all let me know my thought. Let me know your thoughts, yo. And then after this, we got a video to show y'all from RFK's cousin. I don't understand why people hate RFK Jr. so much. Like, even if you disagree on his views, don't you think that it's important to challenge the things and to have the courage to challenge some of the organizations that he's willing to challenge and has been willing to challenge his entire career?
Maybe not.
My understanding is that the executive order that was issued today, which I haven't seen, but I've read a summary.
Well, let me ask you this then, because you keep citing the Trump administration and you're just going to follow what they say. Is that what you're doing? You're just a rubber stamp for them in this position? So anybody, so it doesn't matter that you're before us. It could be anybody coming before us as long as they're a rubber stamp for this administration and disregarding your beliefs and what you think. I guess my question to you is if it.
Yo, y'all ever wonder why Trump respects RFK Jr.? You ever wonder why even when RFK Jr. was running against Trump, or I guess you could say running against Trump, but he's running as an independent, running against Trump, why Trump, I think only one time he said something like when RFK Jr. was getting a lot of traction, Trump said something like a talking point that a lot of people use. I don't even know the word that he used, but everything other than that, he was always very complimentary of RFK Jr. Go back and look at RFK Jr. and his involvement with the Ramapo Lenape tribe up in North Jersey, and how there was RFK Jr. represented them. And there was I believe it was the same situation, or a couple different situations. One with the Ford plant that was up there because they were dumping waste into the Ramapo Lenape, into their land and destroying a lot of their land, causing a lot of issues, a lot of health issues. RFK Jr. represented them. There was also a similar situation with the Ramapo Lenape. They were kind of going against Trump with something, and I believe RFK Jr. was on the other side of it. And if you listen to Trump talk about RFK Jr., he says that I've always, respected him, always thought that he was an intelligent person, always. And a lot of my understanding is that he sees that RFK Jr. is willing to fight for something. And I think that Trump's been on the other side of it. So he respects it. But that's just to her point, trying to act like he's just a yes man when it comes to Trump. But let's just keep going.
It really is fundamental to what you believe. How do you live with that? How do you address those issues as you're moving forward, knowing that it's going to harm Americans?
Mama Lay, I'm with you. I'm excited by him challenging things. But for some reason, don't y'all, even if you disagree with something that he says, don't we understand how important it is to have people that still challenge the powers that be? Let's say that we do realize that we're living in a country where we claim we're the greatest country in the world, but in a lot of ways, we are the most unhealthy. Matter of fact, I just heard something where, I don't know if it's this clip, but they were saying that when you look at the death rates of America due to 2020 and COVID, that the rate of Americans dying was significantly higher than this. Don't quote me on it, but I believe they said any other country, due to us being so unhealthy. So if we have such an unhealthy country and we do not have somebody challenging these organizations like the Food and Drug Administration, challenging Big Pharma and that industry, isn't that the problem? Why is it a problem? Why do we call somebody loony and allow somebody that's actually challenging it, somebody that's actually cares about environment, has a history of serving environmental needs, of prioritizing the citizens, American citizens, prioritizing our well-being, fought for impoverished communities in New York City to have the same water? Because I don't know if y'all are familiar, but one of the things that RFK Jr. fought for is New York City. They were to the impoverished communities in New York City, they were giving, like, the water that they were getting was coming from toxic areas. So if you've ever lived in New York used to have some of the best tap water in the country. I don't know if that's still the case. But so what they were doing where they were sending the best water to all the affluent communities, but then they were giving all this toxic water to the impoverished communities. That's the type of guy that RFK Jr. is. That's who he is. That's who he's been for a very long time. But let's keep going.
Yeah.
You want me to answer the question?
No, I'm asking you.
Okay. President Trump has asked me to end the chronic disease epidemic and make America healthy again. And I'm
So is that the only reason why you're at HHS? Is that the only reason why then you're at the HHS, to address that one issue?
To address that one issue? Hold on. Listen to what he just said.
Make America healthy again. Ask me to end the chronic disease epidemic and make America healthy again.
President Trump
wants me to end the chronic disease epidemic and make America healthy again. And listen to her response.
And I'm
So
in
is
a
that the
unique
only reason
position.
why you're at HHS?
Is the only reason that you're at HHS. Let me make sure that I'm correct on my acronyms. HHS. What is HHS? HHS stands for Health and Human Services. So when he says that President Trump put him in control of or wants him to fix this disease epidemic that we have and to make America healthy again, and then we have her responding saying, is this the only reason why you're here? Is there something else that he should be doing?
Is that the only reason why then you're at the HHS to address that one issue?
Make
President
America
Trump
healthy
has
again. That's
asked
the only
me
issue?
because I'm in a unique position to end that. And that is what I'm doing. And if we don't solve that problem, Senator, all of the other disputes we have about who's paying, and whether it's insurance companies, whether it's providers, whether it's HMOs, whether it's patients or families, all of those are moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. Our ship is sinking.
That's the difference, once again, between politicians and business people. You're trying to do a whole bunch of other stuff rather than get to the root of the problem. That's what we talk about a lot on this show. When I say black people get bamboozled and manipulated, it's all with just focusing on the surface level issues and not getting to the actual root of it, whether it's DEI or anything else, whether it's the woke ideologies, all of it across the board. You're rearranging furniture on the Titanic. We are sinking. We have a huge health issue in our country. And you want to rearrange the furniture on the Titanic that is already sinking.
Whether it's HMOs, whether it's patients or families, all of those are moving deck chairs around on the Titanic. Our ship is sinking. Our 60% increase in Medicaid over the past 4 years is the biggest budget line now, and it's growing faster than any other. And no other nation in the world has what we have here. No other nation has a chronic disease. We have the highest chronic disease burden of any country in the world. We had, during COVID, we had 16% of the COVID deaths in a country. We only have 4.2% of the world's population. We had a higher death count than any country in the world. And when CDC was asked why, they said it's because Americans are the sickest people on earth. The average person who died from COVID, American, had 3.8 chronic diseases. This is an existential threat economically, to our military, to our health, to our sense of well-being. And it is a priority for President Trump. And that's why he asked me to run the agency. And if I'm privileged to be confirmed, that's exactly what I'll do.
Any more questions?
These are just extra.
All right. Alex Jones looking healthy. He looking like look at how he used to look. Now look at him. He looks younger than he did then. All right, let's move on. I wanted to show y'all that video. What did I say? That we had Caroline Kennedy. And hold on, Trump is such a polar person in this conversation. This is what I was talking about earlier. You know why people have a hard time when I ask them, what do you dislike about Trump? This is just my opinion. Here I go doing it again, right? This is just my opinion. These are all just my opinions. Don't be mad at me. Help me, educate me, tell me where I'm wrong. I'm cool with it. I can handle it. I can handle constructive criticism. Trust me. I've been cut before. Like, it's cool. I've been told you're not good enough for your dream. Yeah, you made it here. You're not good enough. Go home. We don't want you here. So I'm cool with the constructive criticism. I'm really good with it. In my opinion, the reason why people have a hard time of explaining why they like Trump is because I think that from a man's perspective, we sound very weak, maybe, or we think that we sound weak in saying the things what we really dislike about Trump. I'm going to use myself as an example. You know the things that I dislike about Trump? I thought that Make America Great Again, that slogan, it was insensitive. I thought that it was extremely insensitive. It's like, here you're talking about Make America Great when I'm a black person in this country. And it's hard for me to identify. This is the way I used to think. I kind of elaborated on this. I don't really want to dive into it deeper, but how I used to think, it's like, how can anybody say that America was ever great? It was never great for black people. And that's why I disliked it. I thought it was very sensitive. One of the reasons why I disliked him. Now, aside from all the reasons why I disliked him, because of the things like very fine people on both sides, where the media was just manipulating a lot of his points, a lot of his speeches, and cutting things off, acting as if he said he's talking about we already gone through this, where the whole Charlottesville thing, there's good people on both sides. And Trump clearly said, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists. They should be condemned at all costs. But of course, I didn't find that out until 8 years later. Y'all already know that song and dance. I don't need to go down that path. The other reason that I think people dislike Trump is because he just seems mean. He seems a little mean. He seems arrogant. What else does he seem? Now, I'm not saying that I think all these things now, but I did used to think them. What else would I say? Things that I dislike about Trump. A lot of the things, in my opinion, are based on how he speaks to people. His arrogance that I just mentioned. A lot of the things where it's like, in all actuality, I shouldn't be offended by that. If you arrogant, I don't care. That's an emotional thing that I'm connected. Like, what from a logical standpoint, how does that impact me? All of these politicians are arrogant, whether they show it or whether they just believe it. You don't think Barack Obama's arrogant when he tells you, hey, I'm talking to the brothers. I think that y'all just don't want to vote for Kamala because y'all don't want to see a woman as president. You don't think that that's an arrogant approach? To just target the brothers, but you don't ever target, you don't say, hey, Jewish people, you definitely should be voting for us, because you don't say, hey, Indians, you should be brothers. A lot of the reason, in my opinion, of why people can't, what's their go-to? Oh, we're going to bring up January 6th. The reason why they bring up January 6th, because it's a lot easier to bring up January 6th rather than just saying, I don't know, that guy there's just something about him. I just don't like him. Because it sounds very feminized when we say that. We don't sound like strong men when we say these things. And it's like, should this even be something that we consider for a leader? Yeah, there's a lot of leaders. Michael Jordan was arrogant. Michael Jordan was mean. Michael Jordan was a lot of these same characteristics that we can't stand in Donald Trump, but we all wanted to be like Mike. Make it make sense. Your favorite music artist is arrogant. Your favorite music artist may say some mean things. And now you're probably saying, well, I don't want that person leading the country, okay, cool. You know what's mean to me? What's mean to me is Barack Obama going to Flint, Michigan, when their water is toxic, and taking a fake sip of water, going like, yeah, the water's good. Your drinking water's good. To me, that's mean. But we think about the rhetoric. Oh, he said grab him by the P. Okay, which is worse, Trump saying grab him by the P, or Barack Obama convincing little parents and their little babies to drink on water that he knows is not safe? Which is meaner? Right now that we're judging people based on who's mean, a lot of leaders are mean. Bill Belichick may be seen as mean. A lot of leaders are like that. Matter of fact, I'll be totally honest with you. When I think back to my high school days with a lot of my friends and the position that I took on the team, I was a captain, but I'll be totally honest. I was looking out for me. I didn't fit, and I want to be very specific when it comes to this. When I say I'm looking out for me, I wasn't putting pressure on people to, y'all don't go out tonight. Y'all make sure that y'all studying y'all playbook. I wasn't that type of player. I'm not going out. I'm going to get a lot of rest. I'm going to perform well in the game. Y'all figure out what y'all need to do on y'all own. But maybe I should have been more me because I didn't want to be the type of player or the type of, I didn't want to be the type of teammate that was telling other people what to do. But that's what a leader does. A leader makes you uncomfortable, puts you on the spot, tells you certain things that you may not want to hear. But it doesn't matter because they prioritize getting us to a certain place rather than prioritizing our feelings. Matter of fact, everybody, you know what a lot of people say in sports? That guy's an asshole. But I want him on my team, though. I hate playing against him, but I would love having him on my team. Donald Trump is on our team right now. So maybe we should appreciate some of the things that, oh yeah, take that funding away. You're going to prioritize America first? You're going to prioritize us Americans? Yeah. We want somebody that's an a-hole maybe in prioritizing our needs first. Not caring and caring about the rest of the world to the point where we're now putting ourselves in danger, where we have a defunded police department and a defunded and an underfunded, I should say, fire department. A lot of people don't want to take on that a-hole role when it comes to being a leader. A lot of people can't handle being talked about like Tom Brady. They want to be loved like Peyton. Well, Brady has a lot more rings than Peyton. Let's just leave it there. It's 11:11. All right. Let me play this last video for y'all with RFK's cousin, and then we'll wrap it up from there. All right, where you at? All right, Caroline Kennedy, y'all listen to this. This is hard to watch. I'm probably just gonna let most of it play because it's 6 minutes long, and I gotta get some rest. I know y'all do too.
Dear Senators, throughout the past year, people have asked for my thoughts about my cousin Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his presidential campaign. I did not comment, not only because I was serving in a government position as United States Ambassador to Australia, but because I have never wanted to speak publicly about my family members and their challenges. We are a close generation of 28 cousins who have been through a lot together. We know how hard it's been, and we are always there for each other. But now that Bobby has been nominated by President Trump to be Secretary of Health and Human Services, a position that would put him in charge of the health of the American people, I feel an obligation to speak out. Overseeing the FDA, the NIH, the CDC, and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, agencies that are charged with protecting the most vulnerable among us, is an enormous responsibility and one that Bobby is unqualified to fill. He lacks any relevant government, financial, management, or medical experience. His views on vaccines are dangerous and willfully misinformed. These facts alone should be disqualifying. But he has personal qualities related to this job, which for me pose even greater concern. I've known Bobby my whole life. We grew up together. It's no surprise that he keeps birds of prey as pets, because Bobby himself is a predator. He's always been charismatic, able to attract others through the strength of his personality, his willingness to take risks and break the rules. I watch his younger brothers and cousins follow him down the path of drug addiction. His basement, his garage, his dorm room were always the center of the action, where drugs were available, and he enjoyed showing off how he put baby chickens and mice in a blender to feed to his hawks. It was often a perverse scene of despair and violence. That was a long time ago, and people can change. Through his own strength and the many second chances he was given by people who felt sorry for the boy who lost his father, Bobby was able to pull himself out of illness and disease. I admire the discipline that took and the continuing commitment it requires. But siblings and cousins who Bobby encouraged down the path of substance abuse suffered addiction, illness, and death, while Bobby has gone on to misrepresent, lie, and cheat his way through life. Today, while he may encourage a younger generation to attend AA meetings, Bobby is addicted to attention and power. Bobby preys on the desperation of parents of sick children, vaccinating his own kids while building a following hypocritically discouraging other parents from vaccinating theirs. Even before he fills this job, his constant denigration of our healthcare system and the conspiratorial half-truths he's told about vaccines, including in connection with Samoa's deadly 2019 outbreak of measles, have cost lives. And now we know that Bobby's crusade against vaccination has benefited him in other ways too. His ethics report makes clear that he will keep his financial stake in a lawsuit against an HPV vaccine. In other words, Bobby is willing to profit and enrich himself by denying access to a vaccine that can prevent almost all forms of cervical cancer and has already been safely administered to millions of boys and girls. During my time in Australia, I worked on the Quad Cancer Initiative, and I learned that cervical cancer is among the top 3 forms of cancer among women in a majority of countries. Tragically, every year, more than 200,000 children lose their mothers. They are orphaned due to a lack of vaccines and screening. Those are the real-world consequences of Bobby's irresponsible beliefs. We are a close family, and none of that is easy to say. It also wasn't easy to remain silent last year.
Is that why you have to read it, ma'am? And you can't just communicate it?
When Bobby expropriated my father's image and distorted President Kennedy's legacy to advance his own failed presidential campaign, and then groveled to Donald Trump for a job.
I have to stop it because I just want y'all to keep in mind as you're watching this, these people work for the Democratic Party. Like they have a lot of his family members have jobs within this whole political realm, and they're all Democrats. RFK Jr. was a Democrat, but he left because the principles, as he'll say, the Democratic Party left him. He didn't leave the Democrats. The Democrats changed a lot of their principles, in my opinion. However, some people decide to stay, some people decide to leave. But her saying all these things, it's just pretty wild to me. It's pretty wild. And for her to say all these things, but for us to not take into account that the Democrats want her to say this. It's kind of like we're just going to ignore that bias that's clearly there. But I don't know, to each their own.
Bobby continues to grandstand off my father's assassination and that of his own father.
Also keep in mind that for them to be involved in politics so much on the Democratic side, why does it take a Republican president and Donald Trump to be the one to release the files or to declassify the files of your father JFK and your uncle RFK being killed? Matter of fact, a lot of the families I saw, like the grandson, I don't know, some of the family members are just saying stuff. You can clearly tell they're just saying stuff to say stuff. But they were upset with Trump for, like, why would you not want to know these things? And in my opinion, this is why a lot of them have jobs within the Democratic Party or in relation to them somehow. It's because they know that, well, I mean, all this is alleged. Let's just keep going.
It's incomprehensible to me that someone who is willing to exploit their own painful family tragedies for publicity would be put in charge of America's life and death situations. Unlike Bobby, I try not to speak for my father, but I am certain that he and my Uncle Bobby, who gave their lives in public service to our country, and my Uncle Teddy, who devoted his long Senate career to the cause of improving health care, would be disgusted.
I try not to speak to my father, but let me tell you what my father would say.
The American healthcare system, for all its flaws, is the envy of the world. Its doctors and nurses, for all, would be disgusted. The American healthcare system, for all its flaws, is the envy of the world.
I don't think that that's true. Not the healthcare system, maybe the overall country. Matter of fact, what's funny is the healthcare system may be one of the only areas that other countries do not envy when it comes to America. Like, that's one of the only things that if I was looking at it from another country, I would not envy. Healthcare, the Food and Drug Administration, which is why other countries, McDonald's case in point, why does McDonald's have 3 ingredients in Europe at their McDonald's in their French fries, with salt being one of them, and that's optional, compared to the amount of ingredients? It's like, I think like 16 or 17 ingredients down here. I'm just wondering why. So I don't think other countries envy us when it comes to our healthcare system, that we're one of the only large countries on our scale that you can still advertise pharmaceuticals on TV. I don't think a lot of other countries are envying that. Other countries may envy the stuff that comes along with that, like the amount of money that our country makes based on not prioritizing our country's health, the citizens in our country, and just profiting off of it. They may be envious of the profit, but I don't think they're envious of how we're going about the profit, unless they're just as evil as a lot of these other people that are totally fine with our country being as unhealthy as possible because they know that that's going to line their pockets.
Its doctors and nurses, researchers, scientists, and caregivers are the most dedicated people I know. Every day they give their lives to heal and save others. They deserve a knowledgeable leader who is committed to heal.
Hold up, what?
Its doctors and nurses, for all its flaws, is the envy of the world. Its doctors and nurses, researchers, scientists, and caregivers are the most dedicated people I know.
If all of this is true, and we have the greatest healthcare system in the world, then why did our population die at a higher rate from COVID than all of these other countries that do not have the healthcare system that we have? Does that make sense to y'all? We have the best healthcare system, right? All these other countries envy it. Matter of fact, it's so good that our citizens died at a higher rate from COVID than all of these other countries that are far less than when it comes to comparing them to America.
Every day they give their lives to heal and save others. They deserve a knowledgeable leader who is committed to evidence and excellence. They deserve a secretary committed to advancing cutting-edge medicine to save lives, not to rejecting the advances we have already made. They deserve a stable, moral, and ethical person at the helm of this crucial agency. They deserve better than Bobby Kennedy, and so do the rest of us. I urge the Senate to reject his nomination. Sincerely, Carolyn Kennedy.
Well, the immigration crack.
Well. Uncle Brother in the building. Yeah, I'm confused as to where she's going. Uncle Brother wrote she's going to the bank with all that big pharma dough. I agree. All right, it's 11:24. We're gonna expedite the ending of this show. Please like and subscribe. If you're familiar with the show, y'all know we finish off 45 seconds. Take the time to meditate, clear your mind, do whatever it is you need to do. Get some deep breaths in, and maybe clear our mind of any resentment that comes with certain individuals that we think of. Why is this thing loose? I gotta tighten this up. All right, just talking to myself. Don't worry about it. But yeah, let's do 45 seconds because I'm actually getting tired as well. 45 seconds. Y'all know it's Wednesday. Every Sunday and Monday, we set out to make this our greatest week ever. This is like our halftime. Let's figure out what we need to do to have the best mindset waking up tomorrow in order to finish out Thursday and Friday strong so that we can stay true to making this our greatest week ever. So with that, we're going to start our 45 seconds. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes, Try to focus on with every breath in, inhaling all that positive energy, every breath out, getting rid of all the negative. All right, let's start now. Oh, shoot. We went beyond those 45. I'm about to take a nap on y'all. Stop playing. All right, one more deep breath. Positive exhale and all the BS. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we come here to do. Elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, challenging ourselves to raise our standards so that way we can become the leaders that our community, our village, our tribe needs, and to accomplish all of these audacious goals that we have. All right, we got to make sure that we're growing, developing, learning new tools and skills, developing new perspectives on things so that we can accomplish all those things. Onward and upward, strength and honor. Y'all know what it is. We get into that bag. It's halftime. Maybe do a little bag check. What's in your bag is in your bag. That's aligned with you getting to your goals, the things that I'm focused on: peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and of course, integrity in everything that we do. Yeah. On that note, Uncle Brother sent the gang. Mama Lay said good night, sweet dreams. And Uncle Brother said, yo, been here, but nodded off a time or two. Saying, nah, I know it's late. I felt like I nodded off a time or two. And of course, we finish off with Quee sending the fire emojis. Love y'all, appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all Friday. First thing is.